Sports presents Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
Another episode of Benning Bites. However you get us, we appreciate you. In particular me, since I guess I'm the only one talking to you fine folks right now. But hopefully you're following along with Coffee and Cream and my main man Andrew Rogers at Andrew Rogers Television. And we're handling it this way. Like, crazy weekend, a lot of emotions. Obviously, Creighton, the way that game finished, a gook of rope, one of Omaha's finest. The Final Four all over the place in terms of seedings, and it's weird. Like, one of the things I think that was really driving me crazy, and we talked about it yesterday on Coffee and Cream in the first hour. I don't like the double talk of, we knew that ranking teams 6 through 25 and all the teams that had been in and out of the top 25 all year was probably going to make for a topsy-turvy kind of tournament. Like, this one was probably going to be very difficult because it didn't seem like – I mean, you had an ACC champ that was a 5 seed, right? So, I mean, those kinds of things were weird because normally you win the ACC, probably not a 5. So it was just one of those years. And I think we all kind of accepted that. But then when it shook out and teams were kind of getting upset and beat, we were like, whoa, if you're ever going to make a run, this would be the year. And then we discount the seedings, right? Because if this is going to be a run, if this was a year that you were going to make the run, then this is the year that you could make a run. You can't say, man, I'm kicking myself. We could have played an 8, a 5. I mean, which is it? Right, so we got into that a little bit, and I mean, agree or disagree, I'm not always going to be right. That's just my opinion on. Just seemed disingenuous when people do that, especially if you're acknowledging that it's a very difficult and up and down college basketball year. Because I think we had 3 or 4 really good teams, and I think we had 25 good teams. And in basketball, that's. I don't even know if really good is the word I would use. I would say 3 or 4 teams that were different, and then about 25 teams that were roughly about the same, maybe 30. So you're going to get a year like this with regards to, and we'll get into this a little bit more today on the show, just a heck of a weekend in terms of Nebraska and their recruiting. And I'm serious. I may need some help from you guys and gals. I'm not. I think I'm to the point now where I'm losing objectivity, the ability to be objective with Coach Rule. I just like him. I like being around him. I like talking to him. I think he's a good man. I love how he interacts with his family. I like how he is kind of overseeing the program. And I'm struggling with not wanting to influence. Is there such a thing as undue influence as a parent? I don't know. I just don't want to become the person that your family or your kids can't talk to because you lack objectivity. And I'm kind of flirting with that right now with this staff, especially this weekend. So anybody else want to get involved and chaperone and do the traveling and go to all these schools, that'd be great. HBO, man, help a brother out. I'm just being honest. I don't really know what other way to say it. And I'm sure there's some of you like, hey, man, you don't have to apologize for that. You like who you like. But I also don't want to, and this is something completely different than wins and losses, right? I'm not talking about if they're developing player X or developing player Y or, how they run a well, I do like how they run a practice, or whether they're getting wins in the wins-loss column. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if somebody asks me who you would like for somebody that you care about to spend time around, they're hitting a lot of the boxes. And there's just no two ways around it. Who 3, 4, 5 years, however long it is, it's a long time to spend around somebody when you're not around. And so picking those people accordingly is very, very important. And Coach Rule in particular, Coach White, Coach Coop, big EJ Barthel guy, they're starting to hit a lot of those benchmarks. Gosh, would I trust you with my kiddo? Yeah, I absolutely would. Right? So, I don't know. It's little stuff that keeps you up at night. Because I also want to be a good sounding board, right? I want to be able to talk about what's going on in other places, and I want to be able to be that guy for who my family needs me to be. So that's just a little bit of insight into what I'm going through. Don't cry for me, Argentina. You don't have to feel bad. I'm just asking for a thought process. Hit us up, 888-638-4876. Some thoughts. I try to pick brains, spend a lot of time, an inordinate amount of time with Dom Raiola this weekend. I talked to the Danny Noonans of the world, the Cluster Johnsons. Done it a ton. Pie Cow. I just ask if you have kids and you've done something and inquiring minds want to know. So that's kind of where we're at with it. Show's coming up. It'll be a good one. It's Coffee and Cream. And remember, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube TV, that's nails because we don't care about the hard outs. We just talk. Missed some good stuff yesterday from Matt DeMarinis at the end. I thought that was fantastic. Sam McEwen was pretty good. One of the reasons I like Sam is I don't always have to agree with him. And it's still good conversation. He just has that. So make sure you're part of what we're doing. Another fantastic show today. It's another episode of Benning Bites.